Hey guys, how we feeling going into this one? Inter-Roma, ooh, I've got those goosebumps coming. Ooh, at the San Siro as well. But Roma actually, you know what? I think honestly that they're gonna pull this one out. I just got that feeling. I'm looking at this Inter Milan side, and they're plagued with injuries. Roma coming off that loss against Atalanta. Oh, that one's still eating away at me, and I know that it probably must be still for the players. That was a really good performance. Of course, the XG is so high, and the ball has not been going into the back of the net. And I have to wonder if Mourinho is going to throw in Belotti instead of Abraham tomorrow. But first off, I just want to take a look at the recent form. So here we've got Inter's Serie A form: loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. It's crazy back and forth how they are. And then we look at Roma's, and it goes from right to left here. That loss that you see all the way on the right, that was Atalanta. And then just going backwards, they've got a couple of losses racked up there as well. But I just have a real positive feeling going into this one. Of course, it's at the San Siro. Inzaghi is a really good coach. What he did with Lazio, I think, needs to be applauded, even if he was a little bit tooting his own horn this past week in the media. But I gotta feel that Mourinho has his number. Let's look at some stats regarding Inter right now. So, besides losing these three away matches, it's the first time that they've lost 3 out of 7 at the start of the season for their first, just their 10th time in history that they have done this. It finds them in 7th place. Roma is in 6th, just a point ahead of them. Of course, you know it's Simone Inzaghi, not his brother, who you might remember from International and Milan. Top scorer, Lautaro Martinez. He's got 3 goals, but he actually hasn't scored since round 4. Internationally, though, he just scored against Honduras with Argentina, and then he had an assist against Jamaica. Inter's got some glaring omissions here. Lukaku, absolutely their main goal scorer, the biggest threat, one of the most dominant players in Serie A in the past 5 years. And Brozovic, he was going to be suspended anyway due to cards, but he's out based upon a muscular injury that he picked up also. It's looking like a 3-5-2. Let me get that to pop up here. Where's my little banner? There we go. This 3-5-2. Of course, you're going to see Handanovic in there, Skriniar, De Vries, Bastoni, no surprises there. Across that midfield line, Darmian, Barella, Aslani, Gagliardini, and Gosens. Up top, Martinez and a player that you may have heard before in Edin Dzeko. I don't know. Who knows? You may have, once or twice. Now, there's been some whispers, though, that it might even be a 3-4-1-2, with Gagliardini and Barella being the anchors behind Mkhitaryan as the trequartista. That, to me, would be an intriguing formation to watch out for. Anyway, on to some fun or not so fun facts for Roma here. Inter are unbeaten in their last 10 Serie A matches against Roma. 4 wins, 6 draws. But actually, Roma's last victory was at the San Siro, and that came in 2017. Since last season, Inter have won 69% of Serie A matches with Brozovic on the pitch. So when he plays, they pretty much win almost 3 out of 4 times. And that's compared to 2 draws and a defeat in their first 3 games without him. Not so buono. Not very good without Brozovic. Can Aslani be that replacement that they're thinking about long term? I'm not so sure. At Empoli, he was a good player. He took over from Samuele Ricci, who went to Torino. And Uncle Sharma, if you watched yesterday's or the day before the episode that I did with him, he was commenting that, he thought he was going to be a really good player. It's just that you haven't seen a lot of him. He's still a youngster coming up, and, you're not going to start over Brozovic. But if he's going to prove himself, he's going to have to do it. But hopefully not against Roma. There are some pretty interesting stats here for Belotti. He's got 4 goals against Inter Milan. Does he get that start? Hiding, peeking in here. Does he get that start over Abraham? And like I said in the beginning, I think maybe if it's a 50-50, I would take that bet, honestly. I don't know if you can bet on that, like DraftKings or something like that. But, who gets the start? And maybe Belotti would be a nice big payout there. But I think it's somewhat likely. Now, you definitely remember Moratti when Inter won the Champions League with Mourinho, 2 Scudetti, I think even a Supercoppa. And he had some interesting things to say. He said Roma are certainly in better shape and want to get some consistency. They're an entertaining squad and could be the surprise of the season. He also said that Inter need to do well because it has been difficult recently, and Lukaku's absence has been really keenly felt as he is the most important player in the squad. I agree with him there. I also agree with him that Roma can and should have been the surprise of this season at this point in time. Of course, it's those nasty injuries. If I think of Zaniolo, um, El Shaarawy, Kumbula, now Karsdorp, it's been such a misfortune. Of course, Vinaldum. Like, man, Roma should have been right up there with the top without these injuries. I really think that they can go neck and neck with Napoli, who's got such a good midfield. Raspadori, he's firing on six cylinders, or six gear, I should say, right now. And I really don't see too much of a difference between them. But I also should say maybe I shouldn't be that optimistic because we haven't gotten to see that full force Roma yet. And but I am optimistic that they would be a really great team. We're just gonna have to wait a little while longer, which is the most frustrating part here. Into Roma's starting lineup, I mentioned that I think I just get this weird feeling that Belotti could be the starter, but we're seeing Patricio and net, of course, the reliable Mancini, Smalling, Ibanez. Most of the time, they're not letting in many goals. Salik out on the right. I've heard that could even be Zalewski. Cristante, Matic, Spinazzola. I know how much the fans love the Matic Cristante partnership. Yeah, right. That's been crucified for being a bit too slow. But I really believe that Cristante benefited like the way that he did at Atalanta when he had more room to roam, the same way that you saw him play for the Azzurri, that he needs to get into different spaces to express his true qualities. But the front three, Pellegrini, Zaniolo, Abraham or Belotti, whoever it ends up being, I really just am looking so forward to the fact that Zaniolo returns. There is a taboo about him. He hasn't won against Inter yet, and he hasn't scored against them either. So against his ex, but that's one of those golden rules in football that, especially when it comes to Roma, now we can hopefully inflict that against Inter Milan. Everyone, let me know what you think. Also, check out that episode with Sharma. He's a really bright guy. He's got a great YouTube. One of the people that really got me into start thinking about doing all this. Give the video a like. You know what to do. Send it to your Romanisti friends as well. Thanks, guys. Forza Roma.